What's up, everybody? You're here with Hollywood, UGWA's true UGWA champion, and you're watching NorCal Tonight.
All right, hey, this is Allstate Chris with another classic episode of NorCal Tonight. Excited, man. This evening I have the opportunity, the privilege. It's an honor to interview Anthony Trevino, the founder of UGWA. Founder of UGWA. They Slash, right?
Slash Anthony, whatever you want to call me, is fine.
I appreciate you, man. This should be fun. We're going to talk a little bit, just about everything. The last few years, things have been blowing up, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So, 20 years? 20 years?
Yeah, we started in '96 as pretty much the quintessential backyard wrestling promotion. We were just, what you would expect from backyard wrestling, a bunch of dumb little kids with, styrofoam belts and shit, beating the shit out of each other.
Awesome, bro.
That's what it
Well,
was.
you see that on WWE when they show the flashback videos.
Yeah.
I think it all starts there for some of us, right? So 20 years though. When did you start really drawing how do I say this, an audience?
Well, about 2010. We were wrestling for years just for ourselves in front of nobody, and around 2010, a few of my friends started watching. Started watching the show, and we had maybe 12 people back there. We were happy with that.
Oh,
But I happened to have a lot of female friends at the time that were really pretty, and I don't know what planets crossed or what happened, but they ended up willing to wrestle in baby oil and bikinis back here, and it went from 12 people to 150 people real quick.
Oh, dude. Wow, that's amazing, bro. So that's cool. You don't hear that every day, obviously, when you're talking about wrestling promotion.
They were the breadcrumbs that led everybody to UGWA, pretty much.
Nice. The party started.
Yeah, it predated the term backyard wrestling. We were doing it before there was even, it was called backyard wrestling. I think the first time I heard that was that 2020 special they did where they were exposing it, scaring the shit out of all the fucking the moms and shit at home. And that's what it became, that's what it kind of blew up after that, I started noticing, other yards popping up all over the place. And eventually we started contacting all these other yard spots, and we kind of just assimilated them into us.
Oh, that's like a territory situation.
Almost like that, I'd say, yeah, and then it just got to the point where, we'd go someplace, pick the 2 or 3 top guys they got there, and then move along to the next place, and just.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's exciting, bro. So you were wrestling at this time?
I actually did wrestle. I wrestled from the start of UGWA to about 2013. I jacked my neck up pretty bad in about 2000, and I probably should have stopped then. I kept going. None of my matches are very athletic, I'm a little guy that didn't do any flying. So
playing on the hardcore aspect.
Yeah, I would try to go, the hardcore angle. I usually used a kendo stick or whatever, and I try to, lead by example. So, I would never ask my wrestlers to do anything that I wasn't willing to do myself. So, I would get pretty bloody sometimes, just to kind of lead the charge,
But it's fun though, right? At that point in time in your life, that was fun.
I loved it. It was great. I fucking weigh $150. Back then I probably weighed like $130 soaking wet. So it's not like I was gonna become a pro wrestler or anything. So the yarding was about as far as I was gonna get as far as that goes. But I loved it. It was fun. I rode it till the wheels fell off, and then my neck got too bad. And
mind if I ask what happened?
I got we were wrestling in Sunnyvale when we started bringing in all these people, and coincidentally I was wrestling. I think he went pro for a while. His name's Hook Bomberry. He gave me a fisherman buster that pretty much fucked my neck up.
Oh man, permanent injury?
Yeah, I feel it every day. But shit happens, you know. I mean,
blood, sweat, tears, right?
yeah,
You know what
and
they say?
and you know that was kind of the wake up call where it was like, you know, we are a bunch of fucking idiots that don't know what we're doing, so maybe we should, you know, go out of our way to, you know, at least make this shit safe, and then we, you know, train to an extent. Nothing like on a pro level or anything like that, but I mean, I've had guys that, you know, left us to go pro, and some of them came back and actually ran, you know, drills in the ring with us,
wow.
and taught us,
Shared the knowledge.
Yeah, shared the knowledge so that we could at least be, you know, safe, you know.
Yeah. Wow, man. Well, that's cool then. So, I mean, you got a couple guys that have the training, like you said, to be safe, you know. But at the same time, I see that you kind of like, I don't want to say distance yourself, but you always try to emphasize that it's not a pro level.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't want anybody to say that we're calling it something it's not. To be honest, I at the point we're at now, I don't even know if you can really call it backyard wrestling anymore. I mean, we still wrestle in the backyard, so if we're going by where, you know, the location is, then yeah. But I mean, we're kind of becoming something different kind of monster.
Like an entity.
Yeah,
right?
we're like the missing link between backyard wrestling and like indie wrestling now almost.
Well, that's exciting stuff, man. So, and you said, so 2013, you said you took the injury? That's when the injury happened?
No, the injury happened in 2000.
Oh, wow.
actually.
So, but 2013.
2001, around there.
Wow, so you had the injury all that time,
Yeah,
and you
I
still went
just-
12 more years?
Yeah, I mean, I never really was like the focal point of the shows, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Did you play the behind-the-scenes role the entire time?
I was always the one writing the shows and everything like that, and it's
Oh,
really,
that's
I mean,
exciting.
like my talent for wrestling isn't in the ring. My talent is writing the shows and being able to like read what my audience wants to see. You know,
Yeah.
And I would if I was gonna say anything, if I'm gonna toot my own horn.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm
Almost
I think-
just like creative.
Yeah,
basically, like
yeah. It's
it-
just,
and
that's where I really get my enjoyment out of it. Cause it's like when I watch wrestling, it's like, I don't know, it's Neo looking at the Matrix almost. Like I see like there's like a formula to it. Somebody smarter than me should explain it someday. But I'm sure there's some kind of mathematical equation to like putting on the perfect wrestling show, and everybody's trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's like, I don't know, you're playing a song, or playing an instrument, but instead of hitting chords, you're hitting like the emotional spectrum for humans in the crowd.
Yeah. Wrestling's very psychological.
Yeah, it's
And-
like a big sociology experiment.
Yes,
pretty much,
that's
you know?
solid. Yeah, that's a great analogy there, man. Because that's what I've always felt. It's like a roller coaster. You know, the good guy goes over the bad guy, and you're right. It must be exciting to be the guy to write that and then see it. You know,
Yeah.
when like guys get excited, they win the title, the world
Yeah.
title. But there's also excitement in the backstage for the person who wrote that out, and when that crowd popped,
Yeah, exactly.
it was a success.
Yeah.
You know, to him. So
And
that's
I've always, I mean, I got a bunch of, I mean, people could say that we got unprofessional people on the show because we're not professional wrestlers. A lot of my guys are yarders.
yeah.
Most of them got training in some aspect, one way or the other, you know, to an extent. You know, a lot of them went to schools and have varying degrees of, you know, completion in those schools. But the one thing that we don't have is egos. We don't got anybody that's out for themselves. Everybody's on the same page here in UGWA. You know,
Yeah.
it's all about, you know, it's like if you're going to have an ego about anything, have an ego about the show as a whole. You know, how well did the entire show do? If the fucking crowd went home happy, then that's what you have an ego about. Don't have an ego about whether you won your fucking fake wrestling match. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
and that's really the attitude that all my guys share. You know, and
Wow.
it's really a team effort here. We're a family.
Yeah, that's a hell of a locker room, I would
Yeah.
assume, because it's not getting yourself over; it's getting the whole show over.
Exactly.
And I mean, if you look at your merch table, you don't see a lot of guys with shirts. You see UGWA shirts.
Yeah.
Or you guys? And that's a good question. UGWA, how did that all come about? I mean, because it's the Underground Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, and fans just at some point they just started sounding it out, and then you know something cool would happen, and then all of a sudden I'd hear UGWA, and you know I'm thinking, fucking, that sounds so silly. Like, what the fuck is an UGWA? You know, but I mean,
So you weren't a fan. That's funny.
But it grew on me. You know, I mean, the fans dug it. They weren't saying it to like mock us. They were just fucking saying it because they were having.
It's like
a
your
good
EC
time.
dub.
Yeah, it's like that's our chant. You know,
Yeah.
and then you know.
And that's kind of cool because it coincides with what your goal is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're trying to get the show over.
Exactly.
And if the crowd's cheering UGWA, I mean,
Yeah,
that's got to
exactly.
feel good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Absolutely, man. That's cool. So, the last few years, there's been a lot of eyes on you. You know, I'm a normal on the wrestling scene. I go to all the shows, you know, and more and more and more, I've been hearing UGWA, and looking into the history. Is kind of where I'm headed with this. I seen some of the pros on that would work your shows back in the day.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to name drop too many people, but I seen guys like Daniel Torch and David Dutra.
Yeah.
These guys originated here from UGWA.
Dutra was like co-writing the show pretty much with me back in the day.
Wow.
Like, people don't realize that. Like, I
Wow.
mean, lifestyle wise, we probably are polar opposites. You know what I mean? But as far as like, if you had us put us in two separate rooms, tell us to write a wrestling show, and then review the script, it's probably gonna look the same. You know?
Oh, okay. Wow.
So he's he was a big part of UGWA for a long time. He came up in that era when it was kind of like taboo to be here, so we had to keep a lot of things secret because I didn't want people to catch heat when they go to be pro. And
I see.
Because there's a lot of times where guys would go pro from here or go to training, and then everything would be gravy, and then somehow it would get out that they were here, and then all of a sudden everybody's attitude would sour, and then they just start getting treated.
Oh, they get labeled.
Yeah, exactly. And
Wow.
they start getting treated different, and I mean, I never want that to happen to my guys. 'Cause I've always encouraged my guys, if you want to move up, then go for it. But I mean.
Wow.
I don't hold any animosity towards anybody for leaving here.
Well, that's kind of cool with the Dutra thing. Like you just mentioned, how your guys' shows would be pretty much the same. It kind of reminds me of, like say Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon when they were doing the SmackDown.
Yeah.
He was the head writer there, and you'd have to run it past him, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's just two completely different minds can put something really good together.
Yeah,
Because you guys live a different lifestyle.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
my point,
But I mean, we pretty much got the same opinions on what puts a good wrestling show on.
Yeah, that's a great wrestling mind. It's
Yeah.
fun, man. That's cool. So the last few years, things have been really looking up. Is there? I mean, as far as numbers are concerned, from a rumor, people I've heard from fans, and just like I said, I was doing research. I mean, you're getting triple digits quite often.
Yeah,
over 100.
Yeah, we usually on the yard shows we average out about 80 to 120. It just kind of fluctuates.
Wow, that's
and
solid
then,
though.
We don't release the address for the yard shows or anything. Like our whole motto for the yard shows is keep it underground. 'Cause, this is my house, so I'm not trying to blow up my own address.
Yeah.
But
Well, that makes a lot of
and
sense.
Thankfully, we're in the city of San Jose, which is one of the few cities who could probably pull this off. But as far as the Ritz shows and everything like that, we've topped off at like 200 people. Around a little bit over 200 for the.
Oh, that's solid.
Yeah.
That's a draw anybody's gonna want.
Yeah,
if you're booking a wrestling show, right?
Yeah, that's great.
That's not a bad day. Right
The place I think maxes out at 500, and with the ring it's like 400. So we've got the place half full.
Yeah. And it shows a lot too that other people outside of, your address isn't known. Is my point here, and they want to see the product.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. You do have a fan base out there. You're very, just from perspective, you're very intertwined with San Jose. I see you running street fairs and
we
really involved in the
San
community.
San Jose is a weird city. We're like a little bubble, we got traits of like San Francisco-y and Oakland-y, but we're our own entity pretty much. And everybody in San Jose really reps this place hard,
Okay.
And when somebody successful comes out of San Jose is usually behind it, and they dig it. They like to see success from
Support.
San Jose,
Yeah.
So that's why I like to put it out there that we're from San Jose, because the fucking city supports us,
Yeah. How is it running in the street fairs?
The street fair, this most recent one we did was insane. We probably had like 500 or 600 people just surrounding there, just watching it. And well, we were doing shows on the hour every hour, and this is a big old fair. They shut down like 4 or 5 blocks of the city, and they got stages set up, and they're doing bands every half hour all over the place. But for like the whole second half of the show, when we would stop, we'd do a match, and then we'd be dead time for like 30, 40 minutes. The fans weren't even leaving the area. They were just staying there
Oh,
to get a
okay.
better spot to watch the next.
They're hoping other people are gonna leave.
Yeah, so that they
Yeah.
can get closer to the ring or whatever, and that tripped me out because I mean there's good bands playing. And it's like go enjoy the rest of the festival, come back. We're not leaving where we're at, but I mean it tripped me out. It was pretty flattering, I think. You know.
Yeah, I was
So-
like a surreal moment.
yeah, really, it tripped me out. You know, there was a moment in that fair where they fought out into the street and like out into the middle of like the fair, and they turn around, they start coming back to the ring, and I see like I'm over by the ring by the sound equipment. I just see like 500 people fucking following my wrestlers coming back to the ring. It tripped me out.
Oh, that's gotta feel
that
good,
one that
man.
tripped me out.
That's
that was,
awesome.
yeah, I'll tell my grandkids about that one.
And I mean, this dates way back. So these crowds, is this? I mean, at that magnitude, dude, you really.
Yeah, I mean, when we were killing all the grass on East Side Drive, you know, when we were all 12, 13 years old, I never imagined that, you know, we would be like, we've already exceeded all my expectations for anything that we were ever going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're way past that. So anything that we do from this point on is really, I mean, I'm happy with it. You know what I mean? Like, if we got shut down now, I would be okay because
It's a success story.
Yeah, it's a success. It's a success as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
From where we started, you know. But I mean, we ain't stopping anytime soon.
No. That's exciting stuff, man. So, dating back, if we were to go back, how long have you actually been running yard shows? Let's say, because you said you were just doing it on the grass.
Yeah.
When did the ring come into play?
Well, from 96 to about 2005-ish, we were doing, you know, yard shows, various yards, wherever we could get them. We didn't really have a steady place, you know.
Mhm.
And
What's your definition of yards? Are these like specifically backyards? 'Cause it sounds
backyards,
like-
front yards, you know, like
Okay.
it's pretty much wherever we could really get to. Like, and a lot of times, like,
These are bumps you guys are taking?
we were beating the shit out of each other.
Oh,
during the
man.
winter. During the winter, fuck, man, we were killing each other out there. And a lot of times we didn't have permission, so when we were waiting until people would go to work and killing their grass without their permission, if there was a house that was for sale or something and nobody was living there, we'd hop in that backyard and we'd do a show in their backyard with that, you know.
So when you say you do a show, are you guys recording this stuff?
Yeah, we used to record. We recorded
Oh,
everything
wow.
pretty much.
Yeah.
A lot of that old shit's on VHS and it's lost, but you know, I mean, we've been recording shit.
Yeah, no YouTube link for something that's
Early
20 years
stage.
old, right? I mean, I would
Yeah,
assume,
exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
things are a little different nowadays. What about today? I mean, just to kind of jump back today real quick. How you guys do? You guys record every show?
Oh yeah, we
You have
record
multiple
everything.
angles
Yeah,
as well, right?
I got a top shelf, you know, camera crew and editing crew.
That's
You know,
awesome.
guys
man.
that have worked in Hollywood, so I mean, it's
That really changes things,
it
you know.
does. They polish the hell out of this turd.
Oh man, that's exciting. So when you guys got the ring, what year was that again? I'm sorry.
We got the ring in 2006,
Wow. Okay.
and
Cool.
that was
Like a 10-year anniversary thing. Almost,
yeah, pretty
right?
much. We got we had actually been shut down for about a year at the time.
Oh man.
We did our last. We had a steady yard for about a year. We lost that. I was engaged at the time, so it was like, looks like it's time to grow up, you know. And then,
Yeah.
you know,
we all experienced that. at some
there was this
point.
place in Newman, California called WSW, and like Dutra left with a few of my guys and went up there, and then they started doing their thing up there, and they had pretty good, you know, production, a lot of shows going on. But eventually, you know, I got that ring, and then I was like, well, it's time to go find a new roster, and that was the first place that I raided.
Vince McMahon style, huh?
Yeah,
Go check them out and see what's going on.
If you were a yard spot in the, you know,
Is there a
late
community of
2000s.
fans?
For Yardie?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know,
well, we're pretty much the last Mohicans now, but I mean, go back like 2005, 2006. There was a few other spots around. You know, it was us. There was the dudes in like San Mateo area where like Sin.
Wow, okay.
Even
Sin.
yeah, Sin
Yeah.
came from there. That was another spot we ended up raiding eventually, and then I brought all.
So you get this ring. Was that an out of pocket purchase? Or?
Yeah, when we got the ring, I paid for it, bought it secondhand. It was beat to shit, completely cracked down the middle. You know, we had to
damn.
re-weld it. That's why it looks like fucking half pipe. You know, but I mean, my guys are used to it. And people get used to it pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah. I would think it's a little easier than taking a bump straight on the.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys ever street fights? I'm assuming that
Yeah,
happens quite often, right?
Especially like my core guys from back in the day. We all started beating each other up on the street. So I mean, wrestling in a ring is like marshmallows and happy thoughts, you know. But
oh man. Okay, so has there always been a UGWA Underground Wrestling Alliance champion? Has there always
yeah,
been a
we've always had a champ of some sort. The belts evolved over time, though. You know, we recently decided to upgrade all our belts to, you know, from like we were using like replicas and shit for years.
Oh yeah,
You know, the original
a lot of
UGWA
people do that.
Yeah, the original UGWA title was Smoking Skull, and we just put some paint pen on there. You know, made it a real Smoking Skull. You know, and then that was our main title. But we've hit up Pro-Am belts, which if anybody's looking for belts for good price, those fuckers are great. When we hit them up, and they got us the San Jose title and the new UGWA title, and those are really pretty titles.
Nice. So yeah, that's exciting stuff, man. So as of 2006, you said you got the ring, and then you said 2010 is when you brought in the girls and the baby oil wrestling.
Yeah, 2010. You know, we went from having 12, 13 fans out here watching us, just my friends, for the most part. Get a keg occasionally, a little pony keg or whatever. But my house was kind of becoming this party pad at the time, and I just had an influx of beautiful women around, and I don't know what happened to get them to agree to this. I don't even know how it really came up, to be honest, but eventually I talked them into wrestling in bikinis and baby oil in my backyard, and we went from like 12 people to 150 people real quick. And
overnight, right?
Yeah, pretty much. God bless those girls, because they were all beautiful, and they didn't have to do it. They were doing it for free, they
Wow.
And somebody stooged out our old YouTube account. Those girls were getting like 200,000 people watching them online. Like,
really?
Yeah, they like our views for those girls matches when we started doing them.
Wow, you deserve like one of those little YouTube plaques or something. That's solid,
but,
man. Wow.
Somebody stooged out our account and said that there's nudity on it, even though there wasn't, and it got taken off. YouTube didn't even like hit us up to be like, hey, they just took the entire damn thing down.
Oh, so was all the data just gone at that point?
Yeah, we had regular wrestling matches on there too, and people weren't 200,000 people weren't watching them. But
so the baby oil gimmick, I guess you can say, was on top of the wrestling show. That was just a separate...
Yeah, that was kind of just like a thing we added to it, and people were coming in. They didn't give a shit about the wrestling. They were just there to see titties. Hoping somebody would pop out of their top, and that was the main reason people were there. But we kind of tricked them, I guess, because like they thought they were coming for that, and by the time it was over, they were into the wrestling.
Yeah.
And then the next show they came back, and we didn't have the girls on the next one. We didn't do it every show. We did the girls maybe, 5 times a year, 5 or 6 times a year, usually during the summer. But people started coming for the wrestling rather than the girls. And eventually the girls all grew up and started having babies of their own or getting married or whatever, and they've all moved on, and the crowd stuck around, and we're still going strong.
They came for the girls,
So
but you guys were popping them with the hard moves.
Exactly,
and you're getting yourselves
they ended
over.
up sticking around.
They remembered why they were wrestling fans when they were little, right?
Yeah, first they came for the girls, and then they came for the wrestling.
Yeah, and that's solid. Oh man, that's exciting. So that's 2010. When did the girls stop?
We stopped doing the ladies like 2012. It started to die out a little bit. It was a really short run, But we also had our other little breadcrumbs we did. We had MMA every once in a while.
Wow.
And I'm sure, most wrestling places have had this where, if you're having we'd have parties here or whatever, and, the wrestling would come up, and then we'd have some bro that's fucking there, and it's like, oh, fuck it, I couldn't do that shit, I'd get serious, and I'd fuck somebody up for reals, and then eventually I just, heard enough people saying that where it's like, well, alright, tough guy, if you're such a fucking badass, and you want to fuck somebody up for reals, how about we do MMA? And, I would talk, kind of embarrass these fools in front of, girls. And
it's party atmosphere, right?
And then talk them into doing it. And then, the next show, we throw them to the lions and they just get massacred,
Wow.
But,
a lot of guys find out quick, professional wrestlers are they're ready to fight, man.
Yeah, well,
You know?
I mean, the fighting was kind of a separate entity. The guys that did the fighting didn't wrestle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were just sticking two tough guys in there going.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a tough guy and a wrestler, and they were like kind of, that's cool though. Man.
None of the, on the shows the wrestlers are wrestling, so I needed to find somebody else. So we kind of found our own little roster of fighters, and it was the same thing. It was underground fighting.
Yeah.
It's not professional fighters. These guys don't go to like dojos and train. They don't have belts or anything.
This is
They're
rest in
fucking,
peace, Kimbo Slice, right?
Yeah, exactly. Pretty
straight
much,
up,
But I mean,
yeah.
we did it to a safe extent. We'd have an EMT or something out, and we got the gloves and mouthpiece, and nobody got injured. It was for sport.
Yeah,
as soon as it was
of course.
over.
Well, I
as soon
guess,
as,
Kimbo,
as soon as somebody went down, fight's over. Help the guy up.
Stop it.
Yeah, fight. Get him up. Dust him off, shake hands. And then grab him a beer. It was all for sport. And
well, that's fun. How long did that last?
Still sort of goes occasionally, but not very often.
Oh, wow.
Like maybe once a year now, but I mean it's kind of just memorial. But now, the focal point of UGWA now is the wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the main draw. Everybody's coming to see the show now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you are. You're definitely drawing numbers. Do you think it has anything to do with the AYA?
We started getting some pretty big crowds before we did any business with Guido.
Guido, yeah. Sure.
But there was just we had entertained the idea of working together a few years back, and then nothing really came of it. And then I remember he said something about his Sundays were going to be free online once. Then I hit him up because we were doing shows on Sundays at the time. And then we started, inboxing each other, and we were talking about it. And then he was down to come down. He was like, I'll come down, but I want to do a death match.
Oh,
and I was
this is Guido talking.
Yeah, this is Guido talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, fucking, if you want to do a death match, fucking, let's do it, bro.
Yeah.
We had never really done anything to the scale that he wanted to do. Like, we had death matchy spots in matches, or matches we called death matches because a dude took a thumbtack bump, or there was a light tube bump, but there was literally the one in the match that we built up to.
It was just like the payoff to the match.
It was really lightweight, and the fans were happy with that. They were totally happy with that.
Yeah, yeah.
But when Guido came in, he was like, I want to do a real death match. And up to that point, the closest thing we did was a firework death match, where I was shooting fucking Roman candles into Creeper's face from the roof and shit like that. Now that was fun, but
wow.
it was more of a gimmick, they burn for a second, but Creeper's a 350-pound dude, so those things bouncing off him like airplanes on King Kong. It wasn't really phasing him. But Guido wanted to do a real deal death match here, and we brought him in, and then he was asking how I wanted to do it, about bringing him in, and I was like, how about we got this event page. I'll send you an invite. You jump on there and then start talking a bunch of shit about us. Like, fucking, I ain't going to your stupid fucking yard show. We'll play it. Then I'll get on there and talk a little shit. And we'll just fucking let it snowball and let people think that it's legit. And people totally ate that shit up for the first, couple days.
I ate it up.
Yeah, we probably, blew our wad a little too soon on that one because... he agreed to a match really quick, so I was like, oh, really? But,
yeah, I kind of get what you said.
Yeah, but we had people going for a good minute there, and, people were, talking, people popping out the woodwork talking hella shit about us, and I'm fucking just laughing my ass off, because I can tell they're serious, hating on us. And it's like, oh my God, you're totally fucking falling for this.
They got worked.
Yeah, you just all these people getting worked that should know better.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. It was funny to me. That's really where I get my kicks from wrestling, is fucking with people like that. But, yeah, so we built it up to this big thing, this big death match, and it was fucking huge. We probably had 200 people back here watching that fucking match.
Wow.
And then we decided to keep doing business with Guido and Sean, and it worked out great, now, they got their own stable, the anti-yarder agenda, they got their own t-shirts, so,
yeah.
All you haters out there, you can rock the AYA shirt with the fucking
there you go.
HAILUGWA.
Yeah, yeah, that's
money's still coming back to us, so, but,
well, that's cool though, man. For me, I thought it was exciting because, as a wrestling fan, you see it as you guys are backyard, and these guys are kind of on a pro level, you know, in a sense. And they're just kind of invading your stuff. You know, it's old school, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, it's pro wrestling.
Yeah, there's only like 12 different storylines you can do in wrestling. You can just kind of tweak them a little here and there, you know, like, and then.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, recently you had a show at the Ritz, and you actually you had a couple pros on there, right? Shotzi was on the show.
Yeah, we've
that placated into a big storyline too, because the opponent was enticing her.
Yeah, we did a big storyline with JD Slater and Shotzi, who they're homies, you know, and they came up with this idea, and we ended up running with it. And the same thing kind of happened again, where, you know, it's like, how many times are we gonna like do this like viral, you know, like storyline shit, and people are gonna think it's real and get upset, like.
The world we live in,
like,
man.
It's wrestling. Wrestling's silly sometimes. People just want to get upset for the sake of getting, for you know, just the sake of getting upset. And it's like none of us, you know, we're not rocket scientists. The fate of the world isn't in our hands. We're, you know, fake fighting in our chonies. You know, it's fucking like you can't get that fucking serious about this.
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
You know, there's nothing that's ever really happened in wrestling that's that serious where the bridge is burned permanently. Like, I'll do business with anybody pretty much. You know, I don't take this shit to heart. You know.
Yeah. It's business, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is now. But
I was gonna say
it didn't start off that way for us. You know, we were just doing this for fun, and we were drama free. And it's funny how, you know, just seeing how pro wrestling is, like, it's pretty dramatic sometimes. And I get a kick out of that. It's funny to me.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I think it would fall under the category of the P word here on NorCal Tonight. We call that the P word, politics. You know?
Politics.
I'm pretty sure, and that's something to touch on about UGWA in general. It's like, you guys really are a team, so you can't. There's not much politic about it if you all have the same goal.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
one thing you're looking for, and that's a good.
We got that anarchy in the logo because we started in the '90s and it wasn't cliche yet. But I mean, we really are like the anarchists of wrestling, because I mean, like. There's a set way that you're supposed to do things and be successful. You know, if you wrestle in the backyard, you denounce the backyard completely, shit on it, go to a wrestling school, pay your dues for however long, become a pro wrestler. You know, do your thing that way. And we just were like, we kind of said, fuck the system, fuck the tradition. We're gonna do it our own way, and our own way found success. Yeah. And I mean, we still get haters. You know, we've had, you know, other promotions in San Jose that have tried to hate on us and block our shows and things like that. But what I've always said is, when it comes to UGWA, is you either need to give us our respect and say we're doing something right, you know, and acknowledge our success, or you got to look at everybody else and say everybody else is doing something real wrong. If we look, I mean, if we're this successful in comparison, then, you know, it's everybody else is doing something wrong or we're doing something right. Take your pick. You know, it can't be both, you know. Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't exist, you know. There's something left to be desired out there, and we're filling that void somewhere. Yeah,
it's like they're picking at your success and trying to put an asterisk next to it and say, well, it's not real success, or, you know, those kind of phrases I'm sure you hear often.
It's not a real show or whatever, you know. I don't know. But, I mean, like, with as time's been going on and, you know, more pros have been on the show, that, you know, invisible wall between, you know, yarding and it's kind of gone now as far as in this area goes. I can't speak for the East Coast. I've had contact with, you know, different yard places over on the East Coast that I've tried to do business with, and then they just shit on us and like, you fucking sellouts, you're trying to be pros, we hate you. And it's like, man, fucking we can't win with anybody, you know. Like,
that's a hell of a perspective that I wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah, you know, all these, you know, East Coast yard spots. There's a lot of them out there on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess they didn't have a slash out there to go to each spot and gobble up all the talent and bring it to one place. Because there used to be, you know, a lot of places here.
Yeah. So in comparison, though, I'd like to say as a fan that you know, I came to a UGWA show a few months back, I think, and I did a lot of research, watched a lot of your past shows and things, and you guys really set yourself apart, man. When you look at some of these backyard shows on the East Coast, I mean, I'm not trying to be too negative about it, but I can say that they don't have too many 300-pounders that can do spinning F5, and, you know, they're not really doing stuff like that. You guys, you have a very talented roster.
Yeah,
I guess what I'm getting at.
I lucked out, man. I got a great group of guys, man, and you know, we've like there's other places like us on the West Coast that are like kind of dance on that line between yarder and pro or whatever. You know, there's like TWF up in Sac, which we got a lot of guys from this year. A lot of guys left that place for whatever reason, and you know, we got a lot of their former champs. You know, I got Ron Rufio from there. I got Scorpion. I got used to be Cardi Craig, and now he's Big Baby Powder here.
Big Baby Powder.
Yeah, fucking those guys are fantastic. I love those guys. You know, those guys are part of the family now. So you know,
how many guys do you have on the whole roster?
I'd say we probably got about a solid like 25, 30 guys that come in and out. You know,
wow.
I'd say the core guys we probably got about 15 to 20 guys that are at every show, and then the other guys, you know, fluctuate in and out.
Yeah, work or something comes in the way.
But now, you know, we're using a lot more pro guys now. We've been using a lot of guys from BTW been coming. Victor Sterling, Chaos Inc. have been coming in.
Yeah.
You know, we had Hip Hop Harry on our show. We had Pogo or Nugs, you know, was on the last show as well.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff. Yeah.
So
how's it working with somebody outside of the promotion? Is that an easy process? Is that just something you do? Just hit them up on social media and say, "Hey, you want to work?" Or BTW?
We got the connection through, you know, like Sean and Guido for, you know, some folks, and then with the BTW guys, you know, Sin's been a big part of our organization for a long time. He left to go be pro, but I mean, as soon as that wall got shattered between, you know, he came back and he's down to work with us. So he really bridged a lot of, you know, I think that made it okay for other people to come in, you know, and everybody that's come in has left with a positive attitude and been. Really
there's a lot of positive reviews.
Yeah, they all contribute to the show and do a great job, and you know they're all, you know, they're all family now, you know.
Yeah, you've definitely taken it. You definitely went somewhere with it, man. You know, when you tell me the story about the way it started compared to where you're at now, it's definitely a business now.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
It's definitely like not big business, but it's business.
Well, I mean,
now
I was like the funny thing is with like the venue that we got is we've been filming this documentary on us for like the past 3-4 years, and we were at like an after party, and I started talking shit out of my ass. I'm probably drunk, and the camera's on. And, you know, our camera guy's like, oh, we're going to film this documentary. And I was like, I'll tell you what, like, do this documentary. If I can't find us a venue, get us out of the yard in a year, I'll shut us down. And then, like, 2 months later, somebody hits me up and was like, hey, we got this venue. You want to come do shows here? Like, oh, shit. Well, I mean, that kind of fell in our lap. And so we didn't have that dramatic chase for a venue that we were looking for. But, I mean, once we hit that venue, we were at the Corinthian Ballroom first before we went to the Ritz. But once we hit the Ritz, then it was really like game on, like, and I saw the vision that this could be, and that's when I decided, you know, that I'm gonna go balls deep in this wrestling shit, and this is what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't run, shit. You can't hide. With the reaper, what part of the game is this? It's too late to pray. It's too late to cry. 'Cause your casket got your name on the
what
side.
The fuck, dog?
Oh,
the band's getting in on the fucking action. Whoa! It's fucking Sin! Sin is in the building! Oh, fuck! The man's a fucking monster! Holy shit! Ooh. He's like, ain't no band kicking no ass on my motherfucking watch. It looks like Sin is back in the UGWA! HAILUGWA!
Who knows when he smells it? 5 a.m. and I'm just sitting velvet, lining in my casket, the tale that tells it. Zombie killer wicked.
So you had to get venues, not necessarily venues, but more so like yards to work in. When did your home become the yard to work in? Like, what year was
Well,
that?
well, 2007, I moved into a new spot. Finally, I moved into my own house, basically, with a yard that I would actually fit the ring.
Yeah, it's got to be a big yard, right? Yeah.
I mean, I was living in
Think about
apartments before that, and obviously you can't set the ring up in an apartment.
Yeah, of course.
So we were going to other people's yards. We had a yard with the ring for about almost a year. It was over off of King and Story.
San Jose, right?
San Jose, yeah.
Awesome.
It was a super ghetto area, but we were running shows in this backyard, and they eventually it got around, and they were going to lose their spot if we kept doing shows there, so we got shut down.
Yeah.
And then we were shut down for another lengthy amount of time from 2000, like mid 2007 to the end of 2007. We were pretty much shut down until I moved into my spot.
Okay.
Ring fit, set it up, then we started doing regular shows in my own backyard from that point on, and that's really once we had our feet planted. That was when we really had the chance to.
I mean, you could run, right? As fast as you want at that point, right?
And from 2007 to 2010, we were wrestling, in front of nobody, but we were really like working the kinks out,
Honing your craft.
Honing the craft,
There you go.
We had the same roster for the most part. I got guys on my roster from, that we pulled from Newman in 2006 that are still here,
Wow, 10
so
years.
They've been here for 10 years. I got guys that started with me over on East Side Drive and, 96, 97 that are still here. Tank's been wrestling with me for fucking 20 years.
Really? Wow. That goes beyond business relationship. That goes beyond a lot of stuff. 20 years.
I mean, we're a family here.
Yeah,
man.
that's family. That's
telling you,
exactly what I was going to say.
Someday I'm going to buy some land in South America. We're going to start UGWAtopia. It's going to be just a compound.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's a believable story right there. That's exciting stuff. So, you ran in the backyard from 2007, you said, to obviously till now, right? 2017's fast approaching, so that's 10 years. Do you have like what's next? I mean, do you have a...
I'm hoping that by 2017 we'll be fully doing venue shows,
Oh, you mentioned the Ritz.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
We were in the Corinthian Ballroom. We started there in 2013, and I think we did 3 or 4 shows at the Corinthian Ballroom, which is great. That place is a cool venue. Getting the ring up all those steps was a bitch, but it's an ancient Masonic not ancient, but I mean ancient as far as it's pretty old. It's one of the older buildings in San Jose, but it used to be a Masonic temple. So it's got all this crazy Egyptian imagery and statues and shit.
Oh wow! So it's got a look to it.
It's fucking. It feels like you're wrestling for the Illuminati there, but it's awesome. But the place is pretty classy, and I didn't really fit the vibe of UGWA.
Okay.
So when we hooked up with the Ritz, it was pretty much a match made in heaven. Like those guys are great. They've been nothing but cool with us. Straightforward. They really are responsible for helping us to really get out of that shadow of amateur yarder. Because they got us hooked up with the Mercury News. We were on the cover of every major newspaper in the Bay Area.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
They got us hooked up with the Metro. It's another local newspaper that we've been in a couple times. They really got our name out there, and
wow,
they helped us. They helped us a lot. And
wow.
I know that a few other wrestling promotions may have hit them up, behind my back to try to swoop that spot. But the Ritz is thankfully they're not trying to fuck with nobody else. They're all about us, and we're all about them. So I push that place to everybody. So if you're ever partying downtown San Jose, go to the Ritz because that cheap drinks, pretty girls serving them, good bands.
Huge rule in good business is loyalty.
Yeah,
so that's
exactly.
awesome. They showed loyalty when they were asked.
Yeah.
And I mean, in saying that, it is kind of difficult sometimes for wrestling promotions, pro, backyard, whatever the case, to land a venue. Because, not everybody looks at wrestling and goes, oh, yeah, I'll have a wrestling show in my venue. They kind of frown upon it sometimes,
Yeah, and I really play up the aspect that, I'm not one of those guys that tries to call pro wrestling a sport. I know some people get butthurt about that touchy subject, but it's a show. It's a performance. It requires athleticism, and you know you got to be in shape, and you got to be a tough guy to take the beating that it gives you. But it's not a sport. You know, it's a performance. It's a show, and I'm trying to put on a performance in the show. You know, I want to entertain people.
Yeah, with your position, top to bottom is your concern. You're not concerned with the main event. You're not a performer, so the main event or match 3 or that's not your concern. Your concern is from the PA, from the sound system. Your concerns are from top to bottom.
Yeah,
basically
like at the end of the show, if I look around and I see rabid fans chanting UGWA, then I know we had a good show. You know what I mean? And pretty much that's every show.
Yeah,
we got some of the craziest, loyalist fans. You know, if somebody badmouths us online, you know, our fans jump in there and just start ripping into them. And a lot of, like, the thing is, like, I like to say, we don't have wrestling fans, we got UGWA fans.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
We got people that have, the majority of our fans, as a matter of fact, have no knowledge of anything going on in NorCal. They don't know about any of the petty bullshit, drama, fucking high school bullshit that goes on. They don't even care about any of that shit. They just want to get entertained. And they get entertained at our shows, and they dig it. They don't know what's pro wrestling, what's indie wrestling, what's backyard wrestling. They're just fucking there. Like, if you gave them the Pepsi challenge and said, what's the difference between UGWA and this? They're going to say, well, I have more fun at this place. You know? So that's their concern, you know?
Yeah.
You know, that's who we play for. That's who I write for, you know? And, you know, that's
and it's an ever-growing fan base.
Yeah,
right?
and
you said you started off with 12 people. I
Yeah.
mean, in reality, you started off with no people, right?
Yeah, we started with no
and
people.
then
the 12 people don't even count, because that's like girlfriends and, you know, family members and, you know, friends, you know.
Yeah.
So
and it's got to feel good, though, to see that you've drawn a crowd in general, because that's your writing, that's your vision, drew 100 people in. So I commend you on taking the chance or the opportunity, whatever people would call it, to go ahead with somebody like the Ritz and say, hey, let's see if we can get 400. What's your, if you don't mind me asking, what's the largest crowd that you've drawn in outside of the street fair?
Outside of the street fair, I'd say, like, paying wise, we've probably like 210.
That's solid.
Which is pretty good.
210 people paid to see wrestling in San Jose, and UGWA was the banner.
Yeah, we've
that's
packed,
solid, man.
And that's about where we topped off at the Ritz. That's also where we've topped off on the Yard. When I stopped wrestling in 2013, my last show, we had 200 fucking people back here going ape shit.
You had 200 people at your home in your backyard.
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been and it was your last match?
That was my last match. Yeah.
How did that feel?
It felt pretty crazy to look around. Like, we were fighting through the crowd, and there's like no room to fight in the crowd, which kind of blew my mind. Like, it was like, fuck out of the way.
Did you feel like that a lot, or did you feel like your last match, being it your last match, is what drew that large crowd? Just the loyalty
I think
to you.
that might have brought in a lot of people for that one, you know?
Do you feel like, I mean, as a performer
people
at that
always
point...
seem to be happy to see me wrestle, even though, like, personally, I think I'm fucking terrible. But, like, I mean, the highlight of my matches was, like, hit somebody in the head with a kendo stick, you know?
Yeah. But character-wise, obviously, you were carrying...
they were...
Promo-wise, and just carrying on this conversation with you now, obviously, you're very articulate, I'm sure. And being a writer, you kind of know where you want their brains to go.
Yeah.
So it'd make it easier
That's
as
probably...
a performer.
I'd say my mouth carried me pretty far through life, thankfully.
That's good stuff. So that's cool, man. So how do you feel about... Because, you know, as a fan, we talk. You know, all us fans, we carpool to shows. I actually drive a lot to go to shows, hours, you know, and I'm with guys and we're talking. And there's not a lot of death match here in Northern California. And that's definitely something that... Because I've always said, wrestling's like, you know... I don't want to say 31 flavors. You know, a friend of mine said this to me and it stuck with me.
Yeah.
Guido. Actually, is the man who said this. There's a lot of different flavors of wrestling. I'm a fan that likes it all.
Yeah.
So
it's like ice cream, yeah.
It's like ice cream.
Yeah.
And when I seen the deathmatch stuff up here, I got really excited with UGWA. I got really excited because we don't get a lot of that. Is that something we're going to be looking forward to in the future? Is that something... Because I know you said Guido's the one that kind of
Guido's
brought that
really the
in.
one that, like christened the death matchy shit here, and I mean, as long as he's here, I'm pretty sure the death matches ain't going away.
That's exciting stuff.
The last one we did got pretty gnarly, so we're letting the crowd kind of like their bloodlust calm a little bit before we get too violent again. But I mean, yeah, we've had a few of them now. You know?
I think it'd be smart to go quarterly anyway. I don't think
Yeah.
that would be. You can't just go out there and kill yourself every month.
Every show.
That would be a payoff situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But and as a fan, again, the point I was making is a lot of payoffs nowadays end up in, they're in a regular match or a cage, or there's not a lot of people are eating light tubes in Northern California, so it's exciting that you actually carry.
You know what
a little
though?
bit of
I mean, fucking light tubes are cheap. You know what I mean? Like thumbtacks are cheap. You know, getting a cage, that's fucking. I would love to do a cage match in UGWA.
Oh, wow. Has that never happened?
That's never happened. We've had
Really?
I think 2 ladder matches. We've only had 2 ladder matches.
20 years. You
Yeah,
got
in
2
20
ladder
matches.
matches.
Yeah, we've had 2 ladder matches, and they've happened in like the past 2 years.
So I gotta ask, how'd you hang the belt? Were you in the backyard for the ladder match?
One was in the backyard. One was at the Corinthian Ballroom. I haven't figured out if we can do them at the Ritz yet because the ceiling they have the little disco ball hanging. So I don't know if we could do a ladder match there, but if we can, we will. But we rigged up this thing with these poles we bought that are sticking up out of the corner posts, and we wedged it in the ring, and then we just got a rope that we tied across really tight, and then we just hung the belt from it. It actually worked out really well.
That's what I'm talking about, man. See, when you're doing it yourself,
MacGyvered it,
Yeah, you're doing this yourself, man. So
I was the kid in high school that would bust out the Gatorade bottle and the toothpick and the thumb and the tinfoil and make a little bong out of it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of
work, man.
That's what UGWA is. You know what I mean? It's the Gatorade bottle, the toothpick, and the tinfoil.
That's a hell of an. That's funny, man. That was good. So as far as laughing, NorCal Tonight, I'm trying my best, to give people a good interview and shoot interviews and such. But there's nothing wrong with laughing. So you've been doing this for a really long time. I mean, to ask for one story, I think would be kind of crazy. But you got anything funny, man? Has there been some moments where let's say you're performing and you're like, oh, I can't, and you just start laughing or whatever, man. Just funny stories.
Well, once upon a time, there was another kind of yardie spot that was actually running out of the APW garage called WFW, and there's a lot of faces that are running around NorCal now that were there, and one of them was hopefully he doesn't get upset for me mentioning it, but one of them was Chupacabra at the time, and I wrestled him there, and I remember before the match I was really nervous to wrestle him because he's really good, so I had to use the restroom. The restroom was occupied, so I ended up just going through the match. I remember he suplexed me so hard that I actually sharted. So that's a funny one. I don't know if he even knows about that. So, Chubby, you suplexed. You gave me the snap shart suplex.
Wow. Suplex the shit out of you.
Suplex the shit out of me. That's a funny one.
Wow, that's sucking. And what? So I just. I don't want to dwell on it too much.
That's not a story that I tell too often.
Yeah, that's funny. That's an exclusive. What was your reaction at that point? Did you say finish? Let's just kill the match. We wrestled
for a good 5, 6, 7 minutes after that. Too,
so. You're killing me, Smalls. Yeah. That's great.
But good thing I was wearing dark pants. But
there you go. Don't wear white.
Yeah. Another one. Recently, we had a wrestler take one of our fans into the shed after a show and started doing their thing in there, and the fans were still here, after show, and they're chanting, oh fuck, I'm just gonna say what it was. It was fucking Rufio. So they're chanting Rufio, Rufio, outside while he's banging in the shed.
Wow.
After
party.
This is UGWA's like a party, you know what I mean? We're like a cross between, I don't know, if you took Animal House and Rocky Horror Picture Show and Fight Club and squished it into a baby, and we would be that baby.
That's funny stuff. So as far as, because you're a booker, you're a promoter, you're the founder of this company. Yeah. How do you feel about comedy in wrestling?
Comedy's great, man. Fucking wrestling needs wrestling's like a variety show. You need. You need something scary, you need something funny, you need something serious, you need something violent and gross, you just gotta balance all that stuff out, there's shows, I love wrestling in all its flavors and forms. I can go see, I can go see Hood Slam, enjoy that, then I can go to see Premiere and enjoy that,
Exactly, I'm the same way, yeah.
And I think, it all works. I think the best wrestling shows have a little bit of everything, you can't have the whole show too serious. The crowd's gonna get bored maybe, and if it's too wonky and crazy the whole time, then maybe people won't like they'll maybe stop paying attention. I don't know, like, but you gotta like mix
it's a
it
formula.
up.
I think you said that earlier. Did you?
Yeah,
mention
there's a formula to like the perfect wrestling show out
Yeah.
there, and I'm sure like somebody way smarter than me someday is gonna like do some mathematical equation and be like, you know, hit these emotional spectrums, and fucking the crowd's just gonna go home and fucking beat off thinking about your show, you know, like so.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's a way, there's, you know, that's what I try to hit every time, you know, like I want the crowd to go home with a half chub.
Well,
thinking
and
about
I mean,
the
at the end of the day, they're your fans,
Yeah.
right? So you want to give them the best show possible because if they keep coming back, I mean, it becomes their loyalty, you, man. So you almost have like a service to them, like, hey, I want to give you the best show that I can get, or give you. So in saying that, your merch game, wow, it's awesome, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
fucking that's pretty much. I mean, that's the secret to wrestling. I think on this level is like find some cool shit to put on a t-shirt, and those t-shirts really are gonna carry you through. Because I mean, like every once in a while, you're gonna get those shows that are duds, you know. Like I mean, we did a show, same day as APW, same day as BTW, same day as the Sharks playoff day. And the
Friday
show,
the 13th, right?
Yeah, that was our Friday the 13th one.
So, yeah.
We did all right. We had I think we did like 150 people there, but the show before that we did 200 people, so it was like we had a 50-person drop off, and
Yeah.
you know the wrestling crowd was spread a little thin that day, you know.
Yeah.
So what really, you know, helps out on those days is the t-shirts.
Yeah, yeah.
We got t-shirts in all your favorite sports and gang colors. So whatever floats your boat, you know. We got this one. This is really popular in East San Jose, the red one. We also got the Warriors colors. We got Giants colors. We got A's colors.
Sharks colors.
Sharks
I'm
colors.
sure.
Of course, Sharks colors.
Sizes they go from
Yeah, we
small
got
to 2X, 3X.
small to 3X. If you're 4X, we'll special order them for you.
And for haters, they have the fail.
And if you fucking hate us and, you know, talk shit about us online and stuff, then, you know, you can get the fail UGWA shirt, same price.
That's right.
All proceeds still come back to UGWA, but I mean, you can at least have a shirt that says that you want us to fail on it.
That's how much you hate. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It goes beyond shirts or no?
Yeah, we got bandanas we sell. You know, those ones are really popular around here. We also got decals for your car. You know.
Oh, really?
If you want to put the HAILUGWA logo right on the side of your car, then
Yeah, I like
put that.
Yeah. How much are the stickers or the decals?
The decals and the bandanas are like $8 a pop.
$8 a
But
pop.
then the shirts are $20 each.
You want to tell them the deal? Is there still the deal with?
Oh yeah, deals 2 for $30 on t-shirts if you buy them.
Yeah. See.
We even got tank tops. We just came in with tank tops.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like I'm on the Home Shopping Network now though, so I don't want to plug my shit too much.
But when I came to the show though, and the point of this was I was really impressed by how many people were wearing them. You know,
Yeah.
like the whole crowd. Obviously they're there for the show, but they're all rocking it. And
Yeah.
And I think it's cool. You
We found something good with the whole Hail UGWA thing. Like we just, I mean, it's a blatant ripoff. I mean, but I mean, it seems like there's a trend in wrestling these days to have like kind of a like parody of something else. You know?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
we got the Fight Club logo shirt that says, you know, the soap says
Oh,
UGWA
man.
on it. So I mean, like
I think all the shirts
yeah,
in
I
some
mean,
way.
even
you
the
know.
demon like the demon one that we got with the horns, subconsciously I think I ripped off the Danzig logo. You know, I didn't mean to, but
Yeah,
until I
I
finished
guess
it, I
a
was
little
like,
bit.
it's done.
Who does that? Is that you?
Yeah, I drew actually I drew this logo. I drew the demon logo. I drew the shark one with the fucking joint in its mouth. And everything.
This is your show, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is your show, man.
Yeah, Renaissance
impressive.
man.
That's awesome, though, man. And I mean, again, we're talking 0 people, 12 people, and 200s. You know, like
Yeah.
like with you said Friday. I don't know.
It caught me off guard, man. Our success is it was not intentional, but now I think I've got it by the reins, and I figured out how to ride this motherfucking wild horse. And
Yeah. The future definitely looks bright. I mean, it's exciting, that's for sure. So we got a picture here. We always
Okay.
do this here at NorCal Tonight. We have a picture. We're going to show you this picture, and then basically you just kind of explain it. Just give me an idea of what I'm seeing, and this is what we got right here.
I usually cut like a post-show promo to kind of just, you know, send the crowd home really rabid. And this was me cutting my post-show promo at the Sofa Fair. So I jumped up. I saw Justin, Justin Brown's one of our camera guys, our main photo guy.
Shout out Justin Brown.
Fantastic fucking
I really would like
camera.
to agree with it. Yeah, definitely.
And
Good stuff.
He snapped a picture of me while I'm, top rope, showing off the T-shirt. You see some fans in the background. And
Yeah.
It was a good moment. We had a good show that day.
What I'd like to touch on real quick, you do a post-show promo? Is that what you said?
I don't do it at the Ritz shows, but the yard shows and at that one, I'll just come out. I usually intro the show at the yard shows. Get everybody excited. Come out at the end, let them know what we got coming up, get them all pumped up on the way out.
Oh, that's good. That's good stuff.
And then,
but you're not sending somebody else out there to do it. I'd like to commend you.
No,
for that,
I do that at the Ritz shows because we got KG to do
that.
Yeah.
KG, that's right.
Yeah, Kevin Gill is way better at that than I am.
Yeah, we'll shout out Kevin Gill.
I'll have Kevin. I have Kevin Gill do that. Yeah, shout out to Kevin Gill for being willing to work with us too. He's great.
That's awesome, man.
He does a fantastic job. He does live commentary over our Ritz shows, and he kills it every time.
Yeah.
And then one more shout out. Sorry, like I'm wearing an Oscar over here. But I want to give a shout out to fucking co-founder of UGWA. People don't realize our camera guy Jose Portillo, who used to be the Iron Man in UGWA. He's been behind the camera for the bulk of our success. He makes us look good. He's got killer camera angles. And Henry Slasher, no relation, who's two slashes.
Yeah.
But Henry Slasher, who's worked on Hollywood films. He's found love here in UGWA, and he edits our shit, and both those guys really make us fucking look amazing.
Before we go, obviously we want to do this. This is a must. But got anything you want to plug as far as social media?
Well, I mean, we're on all the major social media things, so you can check us out on Twitter. Official UGWA is our name on there. We're on Facebook, obviously. That's our main thing we're on. Instagram. We don't have an Instagram, but you can hashtag HAILUGWA on anything, and that's us.
HAILUGWA.
HAILUGWA, yes.
Okay.
I just think, like Hydra from S.H.I.E.L.D. and shit.
Yeah.
What else we got? YouTube page. If you want to check us out, we put stuff out there. I mean, there's plenty of pages that have us on there. We just, maybe about a year ago, we made the official UGWA YouTube page. So there's like one or two official ones out there where you can find like the best, edited videos and things like that, full shows. So I mean, if I was gonna say anything to people out there that have wondered whether they should give us a shot or what, don't let the term backyard wrestling influence your opinion of us, because I know when you hear the term backyard wrestling, there's a specific thing that pops in your head. And that's definitely not what we're doing. It's kind of an injustice to call us just backyard wrestling, because we're a lot more than that these days, and we're more like the missing link. We're the hybrid, and eventually, what we did for backyard wrestling, I guess, in Northern California. I mean, hopefully we can, help this renaissance of pro wrestling in the area. Whether you want to count us as professional wrestling or not, it's up to you. But we're definitely entertaining, and we're definitely putting on a show. So check it out.
I like that too, putting on a show. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like you said before, it's all about the show. So from top to bottom, all you're doing is just delivering the best thing that you can with guys that, really are committed. You guys are a solid team. That's something as a fan that you can actually see, is that you guys work together and you guys do your best, man. And it's awesome. I fully enjoyed it. When I first got here, just, they say that this is on a shoot, but I walked into the backyard, and when the show started, it was nothing I expected at all. I expected guys and no offense to a juggalo. I have a whole bunch of friends that love, ICP, but I expected juggalos just kind of beating the shit out of each other. But a lot of these guys, man, they're in gear. They're ready to work. They're there. They're working matches. This isn't just let's hit each other hard. There's psychology.
No,
and there's a story.
Guys,
And it would be a lie if I told you I was there for anything besides the death match, because that's what I was there for, you know?
The
But
breadcrumbs, man. It's the breadcrumbs.
I was thoroughly impressed. It's kind of like the baby oil.
Yeah, exactly.
You drew me in with the blood, guts, and gore,
The
and then
death
I
matches
fell
have
in love
become-
with the rest of what you had.
Yeah, it's sex and violence. You know, the death matches pretty much replaced the pretty ladies.
Yeah, and you know, even if you don't do that from here on out, I'm sold on the idea. And I just
Well,
wanted
we
to
still
say,
have
you know,
we still have pretty ladies on the show, but now they know how to wrestle. You know, I mean, like what we used to have, there was very little athleticism and a whole lot of like softcore pornishness to it. You know,
Yeah.
but now
Yeah.
now we got like real you know, ladies that can go out there and kick
Wow.
the shit out of you coming on our shows.
So you definitely want to do this, everybody out there. First of all, I want to say thank you. Definitely,
Thanks for having me.
you want to go on Facebook, UGWA, just put it in the search bar. Underground Wrestling Alliance. You probably can find some different things. Who knows? We know how Google and YouTube and all that works. NorCal Tonight on Twitter. Official UGWA on Twitter. Instagram, Facebook, the whole shebang. Hashtag HAILUGWA.
If you
Support,
want one
man.
of these spiffy shirts, you can hit us up online. Got PayPal. I'll mail them out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And good stuff, man. Anthony, it's
All right,
been a
brother.
pleasure.
It has been a pleasure.
Hail UGWA, my friend.
HAILUGWA.
This is Allstate Chris. That was NorCal Tonight. And thank you guys so much.